we've got approximately 30 aircraft today with almost 200 aircraft on order. So we look at growth in India, not just, something that is exciting for the future, but growth in India really redefines aviation, and growth in India is more here than any other part of the world. So very exciting. I think Akasa's foundation is based on that growth, and we pride ourselves in serving tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which is where we find a lot of growth in the years to come. So absolutely, tier 2 and tier 3 cities are extremely viable destinations for us today and in the future.
Interesting. Can you give us a bit more colour on that, Vinay? And what regions within India, can you name any cities that you are planning to operate out of?
Sure. I mean, just to give you a sense, today we fly to places like Prayagraj, Kochi, Varanasi, Ahmedabad, and the list goes on. So we fly to 23 destinations within India, 23. And we fly to 5 international destinations. And so, almost any tier 2 or 3 city that you look at in India is a large city, right? We've got multiple cities with over 1 million people. And so, we're in this golden age of aviation, this golden age of growth in India it's for multiple years ahead of us. And extremely exciting to be able to fly from, let's say, the metros, the 6 metro cities into multiple tier 2 and 3 cities.
And what about outside India? Because as I understand it, Akasa flies to Abu Dhabi. The GCC corridor with India is very, very active. Visa restrictions, as we were reporting earlier, in several ASEAN countries are being relaxed. What are your ambitions then to expand beyond India?
Yeah, so we do fly to 5 cities. We fly to Abu Dhabi, Doha, Jeddah, Riyadh, and Kuwait. And that's just because, we've got only approximately 30 aircraft today. We have plans to fly northwards, whether it's, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. We have plans to fly east of India, whether it is Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, as was just talked about a little while ago on the show. Certainly, Thailand, Singapore, as well as east. We've got a great plane. We've got brand new 737 MAX. These are extremely strong in terms of missions. We can fly from India to the east coast of Africa, so Tanzania, Egypt, Kenya. These are all possibilities. And Indians really want to travel abroad while we continue to build on the domestic aviation industry and domestic tourism. But there are a lot of Indians that want to travel abroad. And so Akasa is extremely well poised with its 200 aircraft yet to come to fly north, south, east, and west.
It must be a very challenging balancing act, Vinay, because some might say that perhaps Akasa should stick to your knitting within the domestic market. There are such huge growth opportunities there, and this is a domestic market that remains so underserved. Shouldn't the focus be primarily within India?
Yeah, so the answer is absolutely not. And let me tell you where the stick to the knitting comes in. You stick to the knitting with a single aircraft type, with a single engine type. And once you've got, single class, as far as we're concerned, although I think we're helping, affordable touches of luxury in the servings that we provide our consumers. And so very, very strong focus on service, very strong focus on reliability and on-time performance. But that's really the knitting that we need to stick to. So if we've got a single aircraft type, a single engine type, but it has the capability to fly 5 hours, then absolutely there's no point in restricting this within a 2-hour radius of India, because it is not increasing your cost base as you fly to these international destinations, and it's just expanding your revenue horizon.
Yes.
So I'd say the sticking to the knitting is in terms of the business model that we have.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Vinay. And you touched on the aircraft, your preferred choice of aircraft. And just give us your thoughts on the reliability of Boeing as an aircraft supplier, the current status of the order book, delivery delays, and to what degree these have impacted Akasa operationally and commercially.
Yeah, so I think, a lot has been talked about some of the issues Boeing has faced in the past. I can tell you that those are, from our vantage point, well behind them. You've got an extremely exciting time at Boeing today. We're getting deliveries. In fact, we've got 2 deliveries that we will get in the span of the next, I'd say, 2 weeks. So think about that. 2 additional deliveries coming to Akasa in the span of the next 2 weeks. That should give you a sense that the issues that Boeing have faced are behind us. But let me put things in perspective as far as Akasa is concerned. There's no airline in the 125-odd year history of global aviation that has grown at the pace of Akasa. So if you've got an aircraft or 2 less that comes in a year, actually it's no big deal for us, given that we are sort of setting records that no one has seen in the history of global aviation. So I just want to put that in perspective. But coming back to the issue of Boeing, I think it's very, very exciting times ahead. They've been great partners. They built an excellent aircraft, and we couldn't be happier.
How big are the challenges domestically in terms of building out the airport infrastructure and connecting these tier 2, tier 3 cities and building out these hubs within India? Because as I understand it, the build-out, the infrastructure build-out has not been going to plan. There are reports of ghost airports. There are reports of half-completed airport infrastructure. Why isn't it going as planned? And what's going wrong there in terms of the partnership with perhaps government entities?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I have a different take on it, Sri. So when you're building out 140 airports in the course of the last 10 years, which, and by the way, if you'd had this conversation with me 10 years ago, I would paint a very different picture, much along the lines of your questioning. But over the last several years, we built out 70 already, and there's 70 more that are in the build phase. So when you're building 140 airports over here, it is a sign of very, very substantial investments that our government is making in airport infrastructure, with 2 extremely large airports that are poised to come online in the course of the next few months, right? And so by July, I think you'll see the new airport in Mumbai. By July, you'll also see the new airport in the greater Delhi area. These are very, very large projects, very essential projects. So my take is that when you've built 140, airports, or you're working on these 140 with 70 built and 70, in the hopper over the course of the last 10 years, you may have a delay on 1 or 2 or 3. That should not take away from the fact that today, it's not an airport capacity constraint that, airlines are facing, which was a very different story 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were talking about, with all these planes coming, where are we going to fly them? Where are we going to park them? Today, that's not part of the conversation that airlines are having at all.